So a lot of people were left with the question of what happened to Halloween this year? Why didn't the kids show up? Why weren't there a lot of people giving out candy, etc., etc.? I will even point out that in my neighborhood, I noticed a significant drop in people handing out candy. Many people had their lights off, which is an indication, no candy, kids, no candy. When that light is off, the porch light is off, whether their house was decorated or not, they do not have candy to hand out. And many neighborhoods where they just felt like they were sad because they had candy to give out and the kids just didn't show up. So there are several factors that I would like to point out that I saw that people missed. One is that it fell on a school night. Usually things are popping on weekends. Am I correct? People don't like going out on school nights very long because the kids have to wake up the next day for school. Secondly, in this generation of TikTok and the world of social media and look at me, I hardly doubt these young Gen Zers, or I'd say the late millennials to Gen Zers, or even the new generation coming up is going to give a damn about these type of holidays. And the only way they'll care is if they're doing it for themselves. A lot of these people aren't even going to have kids. So you're going to notice a real decline in children and birth rates and people even having kids to hand out candy to. I have a theory that the neighborhoods where a lot of kids didn't even show up at all is because they just didn't have a large population of kids or people raising kids. And also money. Money is a big factor in paying for stuff. If you guys didn't notice, there was a sharp increase in candy since a couple years ago. We've been seeing this hike in candy, and people just don't have the money to pay for, a $30 bag of chocolate like they used to. So with, resources stretched thin, people having less children and communities not being middle class anymore, people don't have money, right? When it says here, the survey of 81% of Americans increased their savings, their emergency savings, that tells you a lot about where people stand. And then you have the age-old theory where kids just don't trick or treat in their neighborhoods. Well, it depends on the neighborhood. If your neighborhood has a lot of poor people, you probably are not going to trick or treat in that neighborhood. A lot of the older generation knows this when they have that one friend that always wanted to tag along in their neighborhood because it was just better. The candy was better. That's not changed, but I think a lot of kids in general coming up nowadays don't see the significance in going out and participating in these type of pagan holidays. So if you ask any young people why they're even celebrating these paganistic holidays, most of them wouldn't even know why. Rich people just dress their kids up and show off on social media in 3 or 5 different costumes by the time Halloween's even over. So I wouldn't feel too bad if, people didn't show up. Maybe this is a sign of the times that people are just kind of over it. They know what the origins of this holiday is. As with many holidays, think of how many freaking holidays Americans spend money on average during the year. It's a lot. It's a lot of stuff made up to make a lot of companies a lot of money because we participate in this BS. And with social media, you're just going to see more and more people trying to outdo each other every single year. It's become more of a, look at me thing, a more narcissistic thing than anything else. It's not going to be the same type of holiday as it was back in the day. A lot of these rich elite people use their kids as props to just, blow up their social media feed. It's kind of vain. Another thing I've learned is that trunk or treat has kind of taken the spot of going door to door. A lot of the kids kind of appreciate trunk or treat because they get to see their friends. They hang out with people from their school or their church group. And this is a great way to get them together. They do the trick or treating. It's a more safe environment. You know the people there. You know what you're getting. So with that, I would just say, this is one of these things where if they did away with it, I don't think it would affect any of us, to be quite honest. I think if anything, we'd be saving ourselves a ton of money. Rich people are just getting richer. So the only people getting tricked here are you and me.